time you start the JPA app, it may look like this. They put an instructional video if you want to watch it. But to get out of this screen, just hit the upper left. That's a back arrow right there. And now this is what your initial screen will look like. Okay, so let me just go over the screen from top to bottom real quick. On the top left, that's your back button in case you make a mistake. To the right of that is the new button to start a new game. To the right of that is a white slider. Don't touch that. That is for sudden death only. If you ever accidentally tap it and it goes green, just tap it again to put it back to white. To the right of that is the menu button, which the only thing that is used for, which is a good use, but you can go back and look over each rack in detail if you want. Like if there's an argument over what balls were dropped by which player, you can go through and see rack by rack what was done there. And the stuff to the right of that, ignore that. That's only if you are part of the JPA in Japan. Okay, going down one more row. This is the rectangular box for player 1. And actually, let's go below that. And the green box is the scoring box for player 1. So you put the name of player 1 in the left rectangular box, and then the green box with the Japanese writing will be the scoring box. Everything's going to go English once you start scoring. Then over on the right, you'll have the right player's name below the menu box, and then the green box on the right is for the right player. The yellow there are the timeouts for each player, and below that are the skill levels for each player. Between the two timeout hourglasses is a safety button. Anytime a player plays a safety that actually results in it becoming the other player's turn, tap that box. Don't tap it if someone plays a safety but accidentally makes a ball. The reason I say that is when you hit that button, the scoring automatically goes to the next player, and you can't really manually put it back because that would count as another inning if you did that. So only mark safeties with this app if the safety results in it becoming the next player's turn. Okay. I don't use the ace button. Not exactly sure what that's for. And the BR is break and runs. That gets recorded automatically. You don't need to mark it. Okay. Same thing with innings. They get recorded automatically, so you don't need to mark them. Some of the dead balls get recorded manually. Like if, let's say I'm playing a rack and on the 5 ball, I make the 5, but then I scratch. So that 5's a dead ball. I'll mark that manually. But conversely, if we're playing a rack and say I've made the 1 ball, I've made the 2 ball, and now let's say I make the 3-9 combo, and then I mark the 9 ball, the 3 through 8 automatically get recorded by dead by the app. You don't need to mark them manually. Okay, so let's do an actual game here. Let's say it's me playing against Shar, and Shar's an SL6, I'm an SL5, and let's assume that Shar won the lag. Okay, so I'm going to start off by hitting new here, new game, and the player, I'll put Shar, SHAR, because she won the lag, so she's the player on the left, player 1. I'm over here on the right because I lost the lag, MARC, and then I'll hit my back button from my phone, okay, and then just to get the keyboard to go away, and then let's do the skill levels. So Char's skill levels, just on the left, it's above the 2 ball, you tap the SL there, okay, and we slide down because she's an SL6, select that. Mine is above the 6 ball here, tap the SL, and there's my SL5, so select that. And now the game is going to start now that we've set everything up. So I tap the left box, player 1, to get the game started. So the score is 0-0 right now. And let's say she breaks and the 4 ball goes in. So I mark the 4. Let me tap it. Sometimes I have to tap twice only because my screen record's going. Whenever I tried this without screen record, it works right away in 1 tap. Okay, she made the 4. Let's say she then makes the 1 ball and the 2 ball, but she misses the 3. When she misses, it's my turn. So now you tap the green box on the right to show that it's my turn. Now, let's say that I make the 3. Okay, whoops, something. Okay, see that tap didn't go through. To me, my box isn't highlighted green. It gave the score to her. So I messed up. So hit in the upper left-hand corner, hit the back button. It will remove your last scoring action. Okay, it went back the way it was. Her score went to 3, and you can see the 3 ball pop back up. Now let's hit me. There we go. I'm highlighted. So now it's scoring for me. So I made the 3 ball. And let's assume I missed the 5. So in this case, I tap her scoring box. It highlights, so now it's scoring her. Let's say that she plays a successful safety on me. Successful meaning she didn't accidentally make a ball. So we hit the safety button, and it automatically records the safety. You can see to the left of the safety box, it shows she's played 1 safety. And mine highlights to green because it knows it's my turn because she played a safety. Okay, now let's assume that her safety was so good that I missed the ball. So not only is it her turn, I tap her, but I gave her ball in hand. You don't need to mark this. It's not a requirement for the score sheet, but it's great to keep track of it. To the left of the inning button in the center, you'll see a round white ball that says free in it. Just tap that, and that shows that she started this inning with ball in hand. So so there you go. So she's got ball in hand, and she's a really good player. So let's assume that as a really good player, she ran out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Boom. So the rack repopulated. You can see the score is 9-1. Let's say we're just going to do a little more here, show dead balls and whatnot. So let's say that she breaks and she gets the 6 ball, and then she makes the 1 and the 2. But when she shoots the 3, let's assume that she makes the 3, but she also scratches, so it's a dead ball. So we hit the dead button in the bottom left-hand corner. When it highlights orange like that, it means you're marking dead balls now. Okay, so we hit the 3. We'll assume that that was the only one dead. Nothing else went in. And now you hit my score to show that it's coming over to me after the dead ball. Boom. That automatically gave me a ball. It marks it as a ball in hand, because if you mark a dead ball and then you hit the other player's box, it knows that they got ball in hand because it's their turn after a dead ball. So, boom. Okay, anyways, so now I got ball in hand, and let's say I'm shooting well and I get the 4 and the 5. And let's say now the 7-9 is set up for an easy combination and I make the 9 ball. So watch what happens. I just tap the 9 because that's all I made. And it scored the 9, repopulated, and it automatically marked the 7 and 8 as dead balls. Now, you might be saying, okay, I don't know, how many dead balls there were, but if you assume that the score is right, the score is 12 and 5, then there's been 3 dead balls total. So and it also shows it right here. See where I'm tapping right there? It shows that there's been 3 dead balls total throughout the entire match. You just, if you're switching the score sheet, you'll just need to look and say, oh, well, if there's been one dead ball previously, there were 2 the last rack. But anyway, you can also go to the rack itself and see. You can go, okay, let's hit the menu, and then you hit the to summary. I know this looks weird. It's sort of a bug, I think. Hit the to summary button. Let's try again. Okay, and this shows each rack. So there's a visual of each rack in white and light gray lines, but then to the right of it is a vertical gray bar that talks about the rack. So, for instance, see where I'm touching? This is the first rack in here, right? But to the right of it, there's a vertical gray bar right there, and that S1 means it's rack 1. The S stands for set. And it shows the left player got 9, which is Shar. She got 9 balls. The right player, which is me, got 1 ball. there was 2 innings and 0 dead balls, that rack. Okay, if we slide to the right over here, you'll see the next rack, and I'll just make note, we're not going to go over every ball in the rack, but you'll see that I got ball in hand just before the 4 ball. That's what the fray is marked there. So, that's just cool to know if I go back and look. But anyways, looking to the right of that rack, you'll see it's rack 2. Char's total is 12. Mark's total is 5. It was 0 innings, and there were 3 dead balls in that rack. Okay, that's great. Okay, and now I'll hit the back button in the upper left-hand corner. We'll go back. Let's just try another rack with some dead balls. Let's see what happens. This is a new rack I'm shooting. Let's say I get the 8 on the break, and then I miss. 1 doesn't go in, not a scratch or anything though. Char gets the 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4, she gets she's dead ball. She scratches on it. So we mark the 4 as dead. It goes to me. Okay. It automatically marks that I got ball in hand. And let's say I get the 5, 6, 7, and 9. 9. Okay. So now the total score is 15 to 11. And the total dead is 4, but that wasn't all on that rack. So we can go to the menu, go to the summary, and we can go all the way to the right, the last rack right here. You can see is rack 3, scores 15-11. It was 1 inning and 1 dead ball. So see it nice and easy there. Another way to do this, I've been sliding over when I come here. This is the detailed view. If you tap the summary box at the top, it'll switch to a summary view. Boom. So now you don't have to see everything. It just shows it rack by rack. You see the summary. So on rack 3, the score was 15 for Char, 11 for me, 1 inning and 1 dead ball. And then the black box on the right, that's the cumulative. So far, the whole match, we've played 3 innings. There's been 4 dead balls, etc. Okay. So I did want to point out that there is one bug with dead balls. Okay. Everything's fine thus far. The bug is actually probably well seen back in the detailed view. When someone hits the 9 early, there's a bug where the programmer was off by 1 in his loop to count the automatic dead balls when the 9 goes in early. So, for instance, in this second rack here, right? Second rack, I got ball in hand, and then you could see I made the 4, 5, and then I made the 9. And you'll see that, remember, Char, looking up here, Char got the 6 on the break. And you might remember I said I made the 7-9 combo. Okay. Looking at the bottom at the dead balls, you'll see that, yes, the 3 was marked as a dead ball, which Char manually...
Volume on.
That was a dead ball for Char that we had manually entered because she had scratched on the 3. She made the 3 and scratched with the cue ball. So we manually entered that one. But when the 9 went in, the cue ball automatically records the remaining balls that were dead. Now, in reality, the balls that were still left on the table were the 7 and the 8. You can see that Char made the 6, 1, and 2. The 3 was dead, and then I made the 4, 5, and 9, which left the 7 and 8 on the table. But the automatic programmer, what the mistake the programmer made was, instead of it showing 7, 8 on the bottom, it shows as 6, 7. It automatically, by mistake, is off by 1 ball. So if it's the 7 ball that was dead, it displays it as the 6 here. And if it's the 8 ball that was dead, it displays it as the 7. It's really not a big deal because in the end, we're just, counting dead balls, and it accurately shows which balls we made, and we know the rest. The rest are dead. Where it's a problem is if someone makes the 9 ball while the 1 ball is still on the table. Why is that a problem? Well, because if you subtract 1 from the 1 ball, that leaves 0. there is no zero ball, and thus the application doesn't count it. So I will give an example. We're going to hit the back button. We're going to go back to scoring the game. It's my break here, right? All the balls are on the table. And let's assume that on the break I get a 9 snap. Let's say that the 5 and the 9 went in, which would mean I'd get 3 points and there should be 7 dead. Okay, watch what happens. The 5 and the 9, and that's it. It repopulated, racks over. If we now, we say, oh, what was the score? Let's go here, click this, and click the summary. You can see that it marked 6 dead, not 7. And if I click the details and we look at the rack, it's going to be exactly like I said. The 5 and 9 were racked, and we know that if you count back, let's count backwards because it's decrementing by 1. It's easier to follow. We know that the 8, 7, 6 were on the table. Those were dead. But look, it counts those as the 7, 6, 5. It puts them off by 1. Fine, it got those 3 dead balls. We also know that the 4, 3, 2, and 1 were on the table. But it marks those as the 3, the 2, and the 1. And it doesn't mark the 1 ball because it's counting that as a 0, which doesn't exist. And that's why it only lists it as 6 there, which is wrong. And we know it's wrong because if we look at the total in this black box for the whole match, you've got 15 for Shar, 14 for me, it's 29, and 10 dead balls is 39. There's a dead ball missing. And that was in this rack. So whenever the 1 is on the table when the 9 goes in, you're basically, the program's gonna be off. I emailed the app writer about it today. We'll see if he fixes it or if this was an app that he or she wrote like years ago and isn't updating it. I have no idea. Anyway, that's it. It's a great program. And I just think it's going to be much easier for keeping track of balls if you want to use it.